So good day, sir. I am Rangel Oleta from BSCA, BSCS 3ADM, and this is our topic entitled Engaging Strengths. So identifying individual strengths is a unique challenge because, because people often feel hesitant and inhibited about acknowledging positive aspects of themselves. So leaders need to recognize and engage the strengths of their followers. Often, the strengths of followers are not evident to leaders or even to the followers themselves. And it is important to find opportunities outside followers, normal, of duties, and or activities that will allow their strengths to emerge. And knowing their followers' unique strengths allows leaders to make work assignments that maximize each individual's contribution to the collective goal of the group. Strength-based leadership explained. So a strength is an attribute or quality of an individual that accounts for successful performance. It is the characteristics of series of characteristics we demonstrate when our performance is at its best. What is strengths-based leadership? Strengths-based leadership focuses on recognizing what you and your team excel and delegating tasks to those who are strong in areas where you are weak. Strengths-based leaders also know that they have vulnerabilities, especially the potential for their strengths to go into overdrive and to have areas of non-strength which drain them. Potential leadership weaknesses, if you like. More on that a little later. So I have 5 tips for effective strengths-based leadership. First is use your strengths. Firstly, know and remember your strengths and use them every day. Exercise them, become familiar with them, talk to others about them, and stretch them. Limit your risk. To become a more effective leaders, become more aware of your risk areas, where are you overdrive risks, what drains you, and what actively will you do about each. So third is get feedback. Ask for feedback from colleagues on where they see your strengths when they see you become alive and be at your very best. So historical background. As indicated in the historical background, most of the research on strengths has been done by scholars connected with Gallup, and scholars studying positive psychology. This body of research has produced multiple ways of identifying strengths in the wide-ranging list of individual strengths. So next is Gallup Organization. Best known as a public opinion research organization that conducts political polling, the Gallup organization also conducts research in other areas of the social sciences. Gallup later published its groundbreaking work on strengths. In Gallup terminology, a strength starts with an innate talent, a tendency to think and behave a certain way, and to seek harmony among group members, for instance, or to enjoy learning for its own sake. The Strengths Finder. Once you have completed your assessment, you will receive your top 5 signature themes of talent. And people who are especially talented in the includer team are accepting of others. They show awareness of those who feel left out and make an effort to include them. So positive psychology. Positive psychology is the scientific study of what makes life most worth living, focusing on both individual and societal well-being. It studies positive subjective experience, positive individual traits, and positive institution, and it aims to improve quality of life. It is a field of study that has been growing steadily throughout the years as individuals and researchers look for common ground and better well-being. So a powerful way to boost your happiness in life is by leveraging the principles of positive psychology, as its name suggests, and positive psychology focuses on growth by building on what positive, and it helps you by tapping into positive emotions such as curiosity, awe, surprise, and more. Leaders can apply the basic concepts of positive psychology to impact leadership and performance in a positive way. You can use it in your own life and in a practical manner to help you tap your best inner resources. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Mark Angelagro, BScs 3A Data Mining. So let's continue the topic of the engaging strengths, which is the identifying and measuring strengths. So as indicated in the historical background, most of the research on strengths has been done by scholars connected with Gallup and scholars studying positive psychology. So this body of research has produced multiple ways of identifying strength and a wide ranging list of individual strengths. So we have the three major group of way strengths. So which the number one is Gallup organization, number two is Values in Action Institute, and the three of applied positive psychology in Great Britain. So next, so we have the Gallup and strength. Find their profile. So Gallup researchers interviewed an enormous number of executives, salespeople, teachers, doctors, nurses, and other professionals about their strengths and what made them good at what they did. So ito yung mga na number na interviewed, which is the executive, salespeople, teachers, doctors, and other the professionals. So the goal of the interviews was to identify the qualities on high performing individuals. So ang goal ng interview is ma-identify yung mga quality ng mga performance bawat isa. So from interviews, Gallup researchers extracted 34 patterns of teams that they thought did the best job of explaining excellent performance. So it is important to point out the Gallup researchers identified themes of human talent, not their strength. Talent are similar to personality traits. They are relatively stable, fixed characteristics that are not easily changed. So from talents, strengths emerge. The equation of developing a strength is talent times 2 investment. So next. So strength are deriving from having certain talents and then further developing those talents by gaining additional knowledge, skills, and practice by RAT 2007. So we have the example. So you may have the talent for being able to communicate easily with others. So if you have to invest time learning more about the Andres cases of effective communication and practicing it with the help of Toastmasters International, a club that helps individuals develop public speaking skills. So you could enhance your communication strength. So ito yung example na kung kailangan mo, kung you have a talent to be able to communicate easily, so you need to invest time in learning more about the intra intra cases of effective communication and practicing. So kailangan mong i-practice na yung mga maging para maging effective sa communication at pag-practice at matulungan yung mga Toastmasters International. So a club that helps individuals develop public speaking skills. So kailangan mo ding mai-develop yung mga speaking skills mo. So yun yung gawin mo para maging develop yung mga speaking skills mo para ma-enhance yung communication ng strength. So we have a four domains of leadership strength, which is the executing, influencing, relationship building, and strategic thinking. So these domains were derived from information obtained during interviews with thousands of executive teams and from a factor analysis of the Gallup Talent dataset. Taken together, the four domains represent the four kinds of strengths that help create successful teams. So yung four domains is maging upang maging may strengths para maging successful ng isang team. So, effective teams possesses broad grouping of strengths and work best when of all four domains of leadership strengths represent are represented on their teams. Effective teams are generally well-rounded and they have different group members who fulfill different needs of the group. Leaders bring unique strengths to teams, but leaders do not have to demonstrate strength in all four domains. Strong and cohesive teams bring into play everyone's strength to make the team effective. So, the next is the Values in Action Institute and Inventory of Strengths. So, at the same time, at the Strength Finder profile was gaining prominence, researchers at the Values in Action, which is the VIA Institute led by Martin Seligman and Christopher Peterson, were engaged in a project to develop a framework for the field of positive psychology that define and conceptualize character strengths. This classification focuses on what is best in people rather than their weaknesses and problems. To develop the classification, they reviewed philosophical and spiritual literature in Confucianism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judeo Christianity, ancient Greece, and Islam to determine whether there were commonalities that consistently emerge across cultures regarding the virtues. So, para na-develop yung mga classification, nag-review ng philosophy, ng spiritual literature ang mga itong mga bansa na kung saan naging kinuhan nila ng reviewed. So from the review, they identified 6 universal core virtues. So meron silang na identify na 6 universal core virtues, which is the courage, justice, humanity, temperance, transcendence, and wisdom. So the 6 virtues represent the basic structure around which Seligman and Peterson developed the values in action classification of character's strengths. So we have the Center of Applied Positive Psychology and the R2 Strength Profiler Assessment. So based on the principles of positive psychology, researchers at the Center of Applied Positive Psychology, which or the CAP in the United Kingdom, developed an approach to strength that different from the approaches used in Gallup's Strength Finder, the values in action perspectives. So they also examined the different kinds of strengths and weaknesses. CAP argued that strengths are more fluid than personality traits and can emerge over a lifetime through the different situations as we experience. So next, the three central elements of this definition become the criteria in CAPS questionnaire R2 strengths profiler for assessing strength. So we have the performance, so how good we are doing something, and the energy, how much vitality we get out of it, and the use, how often we are able to do it. So we adding this for the century applied of past psychology. So learned behaviors represent those ingrained things we have learned throughout our life experience. All the valuable they do not excite or inspire us. So we have the weaknesses. So weaknesses are our limiting attributes. They often drain our energy and result in poor performance. So ang weaknesses natin is maging limiting attributes. So minsan din ang weaknesses ay nagiging drain energy, which is nagiging poor performance tayo. So one of the Kylie's weaknesses is unconditionality. So yung isang weaknesses ni Kylie daw is the unconditionality. So she finds it hard to genuinely accept people for who they are without being judgmental about them and expecting them to change to meet her ideals. So, as a leader, she is constantly frustrated by others because they don't meet her standards in a number of areas. So, unlike the previous approaches to strength, the CAP model is perspective and pragmatic. So, the model recommended that individuals use their realized strength when possible, but also intentionally look for ways to increase use for their real unrealized strength. So, in order for the team to succeed, and for the last is the strength-based leadership in practice. So, how are strengths used in leadership? So, although there are not no established leadership theories on how to practice leadership from a strength perspective, many useful applications can be made from strengths research in every leadership situations. So in this section, we discuss several specific ways to incorporate strengths in your personal and work settings. So the step of include this, which is the number one, discovering your strengths, developing your strengths, recognizing and engaging the strengths of others, and the last is the four, resting a positive strengths base environment around you. And the following those steps will not be panacea for becoming a perfect strengths based leader, but they will must certainly help you as a leader to maximize the use of your strengths as well as those of others. So the next topic.
Good day. I am Dave M. Dawag, presenter. Discovering your strengths. Discovering your strengths requires you to concentrate on your positive attributes and those times when you feel inspired. To do so, you need to pay attention to your successes rather than focusing on your weaknesses or failures. For example, when are you at the top of your game? What is your what it what is it about your or your interaction with others that contributes to that feeling? What accounts for your best performance when things are going really well for you? What attributes are behind this success? Answering this question will help you discover your strengths. They are first and most important step in practicing strengths-based leadership. Developing your strengths. Telling others about our strengths is important because it lets them know how we can be most useful when working or collaborating together. Clarifying the technique contribution we can make to others and their work. In essence, disclosing strengths declares this is what I bring to the table. This is what I am best at. This is what I can do for you. And that allows others to know what they can expect from us. For example, when Tanya lets others know that is that her strongest quality is that she is in a achiever. Developing strengths. Expressing strengths has a cultural element to it as well. What one culture may see as a strength that should be revealed, another may see as something to be kept hidden. For example, many Western cultures encourage women to recognize and celebrate their intelligence. Addressing your weaknesses. While some of the model discussed here advocate minimizing your weaknesses. Understanding them can allow you to work to improve them and to recognize situation where your weaknesses can be a liability to your leadership. For example, Liza owns a small business developing e-commerce website for companies that sell products online. Her strengths are her structural and process-oriented thinking and technical expertise. She is adept at anticipating and managing the many small details for creating a website that is secure and provides a good user experience. Recognizing and engaging the strengths of others. How do leaders know what people are good at? Sometimes people are very upfront and freely express their strengths. For example, often often says when she joins a New York project, I am a good note taker. So you can plan on me to be the record keeper for our meetings. Similarly, Josh often says on the first day of our roofing project, I am pretty fast with the nail gun. So you might want me on the no nailing shingles. Fostering a positive strengths-based environment. A finally way to practice strengths-based leadership is to create a promote a positive work environment in which people's strengths play an integral role. Multiple studies by researchers in positive organizational scholarship indicate that companies and organizations that create positive for work environments have a positive physiological impact on employees, and in turn, this is an advantageous impact on their performance. A positive climate. Fostering a positive strength-based organizational environment is embraced by a multitude or organizations. For example, more than 500 colleges and universities have integrated dimensions of a strength-based perspective into their student learning faculty and culture, including Baylor University.